Hello, in this video I want to demonstrate the Pac Man 5.1.1 Lollipop ROM on the HTC One Max. I actually used it, installed it with Clockwork Mod Recovery 6.0.5.1. I find that cyanogen mod based ROMs just kind of work better with the Clockwork Mod Recovery. Now, of course, installing, just in case you need a rough draft of how to install, you go here, it's touch recovery, you press install. The first thing that's listed here, it says choose zip from SD card, which you can either choose it from the SD card, or the second one, which says choose from SD card 2, which is the micro SD card, and mine are actually on the micro SD card. So if I tap that, it gives me a list of what's on the micro SD card, and as you can see, it has the lollipop gaps, the super user updated zip, and it says CTD8 WP whatever zip, but that is the Pac Man ROM. Just when you download it from the website, it changes the name to this, but on the website it says that it is the Pac Man ROM. That's the link that you're going to get. Now, of course, when you want to install, you click the ROM install, you click the gaps and install, and you click the super user and install. You need all of those because super user does not come with this ROM, and in order to have root, you need to have super user installed. And so I'm now going to reboot into the ROM, and you'll see what it looks like. Goes this way. And so, of course, the telltale sign that you have installed the ROM correctly, one of the first things you look for is the new boot that comes built into the ROM. As for this is what the new boot looks like. This phone took about 20 minutes to boot up the first time, and then you had the whole updating Android apps deal for about another 10 minutes. So it took about 30 minutes for it to come on the very first time, which is why I didn't do the video with it booting for the very first time. I also wanted to show some interesting little tweaks that I found. So if you want to see that this is the Lollipop 5.1.1, of course you go into your settings, you scroll down to About Phone, and as you can see, it says Android 5.1.1.1. If you tap that, the lollipop will come up, and if you hold it down, the lollipop game will load. The Android lollipop game. Here we go. And this is it. Up. And so, as you can see, I'm very, very bad at this game. Alright. And that lets you know that you have Android 5.1.1 installed. If you're into the kernels and all those kinds of things, it'll tell you what kernel version you're running on. The other thing that you have to do, of course, is you have to tap build number all the times to get developer options, and then you're going to have to go into developer options and turn on your USB debugging here. That's also essential to you having root access to different things. And once you do that, I don't have the custom theme. I actually have material glass theme, so everything on here is translucent. So you can see here, my Play Store is translucent. And so they've definitely gotten better with the theming with this Lollipop. And I love this app drawer. It's in alphabetical order. And if you come down here and you tap the letters, it scrolls for you, takes you back up, brings you back down. And if you know the name of the app, it's pretty easy to find. So of course I'm looking for the Play Store. So I want to open the Play Store app, and as you can see, there it is. It's transparency. You can see as I scroll through, you see Pac Man in between everything. So you can see that it is transparent Pac Man shining through. So I actually love, this is one of my favorite things about the ROM. It's super duper duper fast. It loads extremely fast, as you can see there. And of course, one of the things you lose with this ROM is you lose boom sound. I know that there's a way to get boom sound back. I personally don't know how to do it. It's something that I want to try to do, but I haven't been able to sit down and do it yet since I've had this ROM. You lose boom sound, so, you know, everything's still, you know, fairly loud, but you lose boom sound, and then you also, they don't have the Beats audio built in. So I don't know if you can get the boom sound back, but I know that there's a way to put Beats audio on devices that don't have it. So maybe if you really, really like the boom sound, you may want to try to invest in putting Beats audio back on the ROM. And this has been the Pac Man ROM for Cyanogen Mod version 5.1.1 Android. And it's a Cyanogen Mod based ROM, so you can theme it through Cyanogen Mod. And these are the clear, these are the translucent icons, but they don't have them all. So, you know, the icons are pretty limited as far as what they have. As for the phone, how the phone works on this app, on this ROM, it's pretty quirky. Most of the time when I reboot the phone, I don't have phone service or internet service. So a lot of times it'll be the signal bar that you see here with an asterisk behind it. And a lot of times what I have to do is I have to make a phone call. Some random 1-800 number I'll usually call, and then as I hang up the phone call, I'll get LTE. I'll see the LTE light up in the back, and then that'll give me internet service, and then I'll also have the phone. So it's a really quirky thing. It's not something that, you know, somebody who, you know, turns off their phone often may want to deal with, but I hardly ever turn off my phone. I turn off my phone maybe every 2 or 3 days after, you know, I've used it and used it and used it. So, I mean, it's not really a big deal for me. But if you have to do that every time you turn your phone on, it could produce a problem. The other thing is that sometimes if you have weak signal, you have it on automatic. It's supposed to go to another network. It doesn't. You just lose service altogether. And then you can try to forcibly change it in your settings. I think it just thought I was double tapping. Turn my screen off. So you can try to change it here in the settings by going to mobile networks and select the system and, you know, put it in automatic. that hasn't worked for me. If I don't have signal, it doesn't switch. I usually just lose phone capability and CMA, and then you try to put it in LTE only so that, you know, it kind of boosts my LTE signal. But once again, if I lose LTE signal, as you see here, what just happened here, if I don't have LTE, I don't have anything. So it's a few little network quirks that is still working out. It may work better with GSM devices. There's a lot of GSM options here, but no CDMA options work but this one that I've noticed on the ROM, and the LTE works with the CDMA. But if you don't have LTE and you go to switch back to the CDMA, you won't have anything, as you can see here. So if you do LTE only, you're really going to have LTE only. It doesn't force the LTE to stay. It means if it switches off LTE, you have nothing. So it's not the best ROM for daily driver use if you're a heavy phone user either, which I am not. So once again, it's not much of a problem for me there. But I just wanted to point that out for those of you who are looking. But this ROM also was the 13th of June. I actually downloaded it on the 23rd, which was 10 days later, and now it is almost another 10 days because it is July the 2nd, which you know, is all but like 2 weeks. So there may be another updated nightly. There wasn't when I last checked. So maybe they may work those tweaks out in time, tweak those things out. But as it stands, the phone is a little choppy, and so is the network reception. All right. Thanks, guys.